Now we have to study the transportation. We have studied the nutrition, we have studied the process of respiration. Now we have to study the transportation. Transportation means carrying of the substances from one part of the body to another part of the body. So transportation is just the carrying the things, whether it is the digested food molecule or that is the waste product, that has to be carried from one part to the another part of the body. So oxygen, water, food material, waste product, carbon dioxide, these material are get transported from one part of the body to the next part of the body. So we have to basically study transportation in plants and transportation in animals. So we know for the transportation in human body there are blood vessels, but in plant cells or in the plant body there are no blood vessels. So in case of the plant there are conducting tissues. So conducting tissues means xylem and phloem. So plant cell has in the plant body conduction is done by the conducting tissues. So we have studied it in 9th standard. There are two types of conducting tissues, xylem and phloem. So xylem basically carries the water and xylems are unidirectional. They can carry the water from roots to the in the upward direction. And phloem is able to carry the food material, and phloem is bidirectional, means phloem carry the food material from upward to downward and downward to upward direction. Now see, we have to study all these processes of the conduction of the water and minerals and conduction of the food materials. So basically water and minerals are absorbed by the roots, and water and mineral is carried by the xylem to the various parts of the plant. So in ninth standard we have studied there the xylem contain different types of part. So xylem vessels, xylem parenchyma, xylem sclerenchyma. So these are the different parts of the xylem. So there are two parts of the xylem which helps in the conduction of the water and minerals. So first part is the xylem vessels. So xylem vessel is a pipe-like structure, and xylem, if we study the xylem vessel, it is non-living. Non-living means it does not have nucleus, and it is a long and pipe-like structure which makes the hollow portion to carry the water. So basically xylem vessel is like a open tube or open pipe which can carry the water and minerals from the downward to upward direction. And these xylem vessels do not contain nucleus, so they are non-living dead cells. And along with the conduction of water, they also give the strength to for the plant to stand the upright. Plant, if the plant need to stand the upright, these xylem vessels give the strength in the standing upright to the plant. So here we have two xylem cells. One is called as the xylem vessel and second one is the trachea. Xylem parenchyma and sclerenchyma also present, but they do not play that much role in the conduction of the water. So two main parts of the xylem are xylem vessel and trachea, which plays the main role for the conduction of the water. So if you observe the xylem cells open, dead, so these xylem vessels are dead and non living, and they carry the water and they have open ends. अगर उनके end देखते तो open है. And if you observe the trachea are spindle shaped, their ends are closed, and they are also responsible for the carrying of the water. Basically trachea help the xylem vessel for the conduction of the water. So tracheids are long, thin, they are spindle shaped, and they have pits. Pits means the areas where there is a less deposition of the lignin. So exchange of material takes place through the pits. So xylem vessels also have the pit area. This is the pit area of the xylem vessel, and this is the pit area of the tracheid. So they for the exchange of the material from xylem vessel to tracheid or one tracheid to another tracheid, there is a region called as the pits, and pits are the region where there is a less deposition of the lignin. So there are thin walls, so exchange of the water takes place through the pits. Now next we have to study the transport of food and other materials. Now see, food is prepared by the process of the photosynthesis, and what is the food material is prepared, finally it gets stored in the form of the glucose. Okay, so plant phloem of the plant transport the food material, that is the glucose, and it also transport the plant hormones. So phloem transport the food material from downward to upward in both direction. It is bidirectional. Along with that, food material also transport the plant hormones. Okay. So transportation of the food material from one part of the plant to another part of the plant, this spatially transportation of the food material is called as the translocation. जब फूड पार्टिकल ट्रांसपोर्ट किए जाते हैं थ्रू द फ्लोएम सेल्स, that process is called as the translocation, and translocation is done with the help of the phloem type of the conducting tissues. Now phloem is also made up of four parts. Last year we have studied phloem is made up of four. There are four subparts of the phloem. So there are sieve tubes, companion cell, phloem parenchyma, phloem sclerenchyma. So these are the four subparts of the phloem tissues. So first part of the phloem tissue is the sieve tube, and second part is the companion cell. So here we have the diagram of the phloem, in which here we have the sieve tube. This is sieve tube and this is companion cell. So companion cell has a large and dense nucleus, and companion cells are very active. These companion cells help the sieve tubes for the conduction of the food material. So conduction in the phloem is basically done by the two parts. One is sieve tubes and second one is the companion cell. Companion cells are very active due to the presence of the nucleus. Now if we study these sieve tubes, this lower portion of the sieve tube, it is called as the sieve plates, and sieve plates have the holes. These are not open ended, they have the holes to pass the food material. Like xylem, in case of the xylem vessel, ends are open, but here in case of the sieve tubes, ends are closed, but there are the small portion or pores to pass the food material. That area is called as the sieve plate. So through with the help of these sieve tubes and companion cell, transportation of the food material in both direction takes place in the plant. Now see mechanism of transport of food in a plant. So this movement of the food material in a phloem, this process is called as the translocation, and it is not such a simple process like the conduction of the water. Conduction of water is a very simple process. It does not require energy. But conduction of the food material with the help of the phloem, that is the translocation process, it require energy. And we know the cell produce the energy in the form of the ATP. So energy is required for the transportation of the food material from one part to another part with the help of the maintaining the pressure. Whenever the cell has more pressure, the food material which is present in that cell can be passed into the cell which have the less pressure. So food material transport from one cell to another cell by using the pressure in the cell and along with the energy which is produced by the cell. So transportation of food material is complex process which require the energy, but transportation of the water is a simple process which does not require energy. Now we have studied the transportation of the plants, transportation in the plants. Now we have to study the transportation in the human being. Now in human being, there is a circulatory system to circulate or for the transportation of the food material, enzymes, oxygen, carbon dioxide, everything has to be circulate in the human body, and that circulation of all these substances, oxygen, carbon dioxide, food material, waste material, everything is done with the help of the blood. Means blood is the mainly circulatory substance which circulate throughout the body and which carry the carbon dioxide, oxygen, food material, waste material, enzymes in the body. So if we study the blood, in case of the blood, there are four parts of the blood. First one is the plasma, second one is called as the RBCs, third one is called as the WBCs, and fourth one is the platelets. So these are the four parts of the blood. Now see, if we observe the first part of the blood, that is called as the plasma, that we also studied in the 9th standard. Plasma is the basic material in which three types of cells are embedded. So plasma forms the basic material of the blood, and in the plasma WBCs, RBCs and platelets get embedded. So plasma is the matrix, it is the basic background material. Plasma is made up of salt. It contains 90% of water, salt, protein, digested food material. It contains waste product, it contains carbon dioxide, and it contains the three types of cells: RBCs, WBCs, and platelets. Okay, so plasma is the basic background material, which is also called as the matrix of the cell. We know in 9th standard we call the blood as the fluid connective tissue. Now next part of the blood, that is the RBCs. RBCs means red blood cells, or it is also called as the red blood corpuscles. Now why RBCs are red in color? Because they contain the pigment. That pigment is called as the hemoglobin. Hemoglobin is made up of the iron. So this hemoglobin is responsible for carrying of the oxygen. Means in human body oxygen is carried with the help of the RBCs. We have studied it also. So are biconcave in shape, and RBCs do not contain mitochondria. RBC में mitochondria नहीं होता है. RBC basically carry the oxygen and they are biconcave in the shape. Red blood cells do not have any nucleus also. They do not have mitochondria. They are biconcave in shape. They carry the oxygen. They contain the red color pigment called as the hemoglobin. We have studied if there is no RBCs, it require 3 years for the oxygen which is present in the lungs to go to our toes. It is due to the red blood cells that very fast transport of the oxygen takes place in the human body. Second type of cells in the human blood are the WBCs, or white blood corpuscles. These cells are called as the soldier cells because they can kill the bacteria, virus which are unnecessarily enter in our body. They produces the chemicals which are called as the antibodies to kill the germs which are present in the body. So white blood cells plays very important role to build our immunity, to increase our disease resistance power. So white blood cells are present along with the red blood cells in the body, which are called as the soldier cells, and these white blood cells protect our body from the infections. White blood cells are irregular in shape. They do not have any shape, but they contain the nucleus. RBCs में न्यूक्लियस नहीं था, WBCs में न्यूक्लियस है. RBCs are biconcave in shape, WBCs do not have any shape. RBCs carry the oxygen, white blood cells kills all the virus bacteria in our body and increases our immunity power. Next part of the blood, that is the platelets. Now platelets are also present with the RBCs, WBCs in the blood. Now platelets are fiber-like structure, thread-like structure, and these platelets plays very important role in the clotting of the blood or the coagulation of the blood. When we get some injury, when blood is coming out of the body, after if it is small scratch, after some time bleeding stops automatically. So it stops due to the presence of the platelets. Platelets helps in the clotting of the blood. We know blood is in the liquid form, but when it is exposed to the outer atmosphere, these platelets causes the clotting of the blood, and it blocks that part of the blood vessels, so the blood cannot come out. So platelets plays very important role in the clotting of the blood. Now we have to study the functions of the blood. So blood plays 7 functions. Blood performs 7 functions. So first function, blood carries oxygen from lungs to various body parts. Oxygen which is present in the lungs is carried to the various body parts with the help of the blood. Similarly, second function, carbon dioxide which is produced by the respiration process by each and every cell, that carbon dioxide is carried to the lung again back with the help of the blood. Then third, digestion of the food is completed into the small intestine. That digested food material are carried to the each and every cell with the help of the blood. Similarly, each cell also produces the waste product, so that waste products are carried with the help of the blood to the excretory system. We have to study the excretory system. So waste products of each and every cell are carried to the excretory system with the help of the blood. Then blood also carry the hormones. Various hormones are necessary to carry out the biochemical processes in our body. Enzymes are produced by the various glands in our body. So these enzymes and hormones which are produced by the glands are carried to the different parts of the body